The royal prince lay still. Too still. Elara's hand trembled as she reached toward the child's lips. Feeling for breath she prayed was there. Around her, the golden nursery gleamed with wealth that could feed her village for generations. Yet none of it could save a dying boy. The morning feeding should have been simple. Warm milk, soft bread, gentle songs. Instead, she faced her first day as royal nursemaid, watching a 5-year-old prince struggle for air. "Please," she whispered, lifting him gently. Years caring for her younger siblings kicked in. She turned him, pressed carefully on his small back. Once, a piece of dried fruit shot from his throat. The prince gasped, coughed, and began to cry. "Sure, little star," Elara soothed, her own heart hammering. "You're safe now." The door crashed open. 6 royal guards poured in, swords drawn, followed by a man whose presence made the air feel heavy. He was massive, scarred, with eyes like winter steel, the king's right hand, Commander Darius. An alpha whose reputation for brutality preceded him like a shadow. What happened here? His voice could cut stone. Elara kept her eyes down, as Omegas were taught. "The young prince choked, my lord. He is well now." Darius moved closer. She could smell him, pine and smoke and something dangerous. "Look at me, Omega." She raised her eyes, expecting to see suspicion. Instead she found something else. Calculation. "You saved his life." It wasn't a question. "I did my duty, my lord." "Your predecessor lasted 3 weeks before she fled the palace. Do you know why?" Elara's mouth went dry. She shook her head. Darius leaned down. His words meant only for her. "Because someone in this palace wants these children dead. And you, little Omega, just made yourself either very valuable or very dead." He straightened, addressing his guards. "Double the watch on the nursery. No one enters without my permission." As they filed out, Darius paused at the door. "Keep them alive, Omega. Your life depends on it." The door closed. Princess Mira, only 3 years old, peeked from behind her bed. "Are you going to run away too?" Elara looked at the little girl's frightened face, then at the prince now sleeping peacefully in her arms. She thought of the calculation in Darius's eyes, the warning in his words, the danger pressing in from all sides. "No, little star. I'm staying right here." That night, Elara began her first journal entry, disguised as feeding notes. But as her quill touched parchment, she noticed something that made her blood freeze. A fine white powder, barely visible, dusting the rim of the prince's morning cup. Someone had already tried once today. Elara's routine became her camouflage. Every morning at dawn, she prepared the children's breakfast. Every afternoon their lessons and play. Every evening their supper and bedtime stories. To the court she was invisible, just another Omega tending royal pups. But Elara watched everything. She noticed Lord Cassius visited Tuesdays and Thursdays, always asking the prince about his father's meetings. Lady Helena brought sweets on Wednesdays, staying too long, asking too many questions. The king's own brother, Duke Maxim, came Fridays, his smile never reaching his eyes. In her journal, Elara wrote, "Prince Aiden's breakfast, 2 eggs, goat milk, honey bread." But in the margins, invisible unless you knew to look, she coded the truth. Elsie visited. Asked about King's Council. Seemed frightened. "Why do you write so much?" Princess Mira asked one afternoon, watching Elara document their meal. "To remember what you like to eat, little star. So I can keep you healthy and strong. Mama says Omegas can't read or write." Elara smiled softly. "Your mama is wise. Most can't. But my grandmother taught me in secret. It's our special tool. Like a sword. Exactly like a sword. But quieter." That evening, as Elara cleaned the playroom, she overheard voices from the corridor. She pressed against the wall, barely breathing. "The coronation feast. Both children will be present. The Alpha Guards will be distracted with ceremony. And the Omega nursemaid. Irrelevant. She's too stupid to be a problem." Elara's fingers tightened on her cleaning cloth. She recognized that voice, Lord Cassius. But who was he speaking with? The king must not have heirs. The throne passes to Maxim, then to us. 10 more days. Footsteps approached. Elara grabbed a toy, humming softly as if she'd heard nothing. 2 figures passed, Lord Cassius and someone in a hooded cloak. Neither looked at her. The moment they disappeared, Elara's mind raced. 10 days until the coronation feast. An attack planned. But how? Poison again. Accident. Assassination. She needed help. She needed. Writing more recipes, Omega. Elara spun. Commander Darius stood in the doorway, his massive frame blocking the light. How long had he been there? What had he heard? My lord, show me your journal. Her heart stopped. If he found her codes, her observations, she was dead. But if she refused, she was equally dead. Slowly, she handed him the leather-bound book. Darius flipped through pages, his expression unreadable. Detailed. Very detailed. The children have sensitive stomachs, my lord. His eyes met hers and something passed between them. A test, a question, a challenge. 10 days until the feast, he said quietly. I suggest you be especially careful with the children's food. He closed the journal, handed it back. My lord, I don't. Yes, you do. He moved closer, voice dropping. I've been watching you, Omega. You see things. You're smart enough to hide it. Smart enough to survive. But not smart enough to handle what's coming alone. Why are you telling me this? Because someone tried to poison Prince Aiden 3 times this week. You caught it twice. The 3rd time. His jaw tightened. Caught it. Someone very skilled is trying to kill those children. Someone close to the king. Elara's hand shook. What do you need from me? Keep doing exactly what you're doing. Record. And trust no one. His eyes burned into hers. Accept me. Before she could respond, a scream pierced the air. Princess Myra's scream. Darius bolted toward the nursery, Elara right behind him. They burst through the door to find Mira standing on her bed, pointing at her dinner tray. There's something moving in my soup. Elara rushed forward, looked into the bowl. Her blood turned to ice. Writhing in the broth were dozens of tiny black beetles. Dead man's kiss, a poisonous insect whose bite caused slow, agonizing death in children. Someone had just escalated from poison to murder. Don't touch it, Darius roared. He yanked Elara back from the soup bowl, his strength nearly lifting her off her feet. The beetles writhed, their shells glinting like obsidian in the firelight. Mira, come here, sweet one. Elara kept her voice calm, reaching for the terrified princess. The little girl leaped into her arms, sobbing. Darius drew his sword, used it to flip the bowl onto the floor. The beetles scattered. He crushed them methodically, one by one, his face carved from rage. Who brought this tray? I did, my lord. Elara's voice barely worked. I carried it from the kitchen myself. It was clean. I watched the cook prepare it. There was nothing. Someone added them between kitchen and nursery. Darius grabbed her arm, not roughly, but with urgency. Show me the exact path you took. Still holding Mira, Elara led him through the corridors. The route was direct. Kitchen, servants' hall, up the back stairs, through the royal wing to the nursery. 30 paces total. I stopped once, she remembered. Lady Helena appeared in the hallway. She wanted to know if the children would attend evening prayers. How long did she distract you? Maybe 20 seconds. The tray was on the side table. I didn't. Guilt crashed through her. I failed them. No. Darius's grip tightened. You're the only reason they're alive. Anyone else would have served that soup without looking. What if I'd missed it? What if Mira had eaten? But she didn't. His voice softened just slightly. You saved her. Again. Elara looked up at him, this legendary alpha warrior who'd killed hundreds in the king's wars. Up close, she saw the scars crossing his face, the weight in his eyes, the exhaustion of someone carrying impossible burdens. "Why do you believe me?" she whispered. "I'm nobody, an omega from a farming village. Why trust me over the nobles?" Something flickered in his expression, old pain buried deep. "Because I was nobody once. A soldier's orphan who shouldn't have survived. And because—" He hesitated. "'Cause I've watched you with those children. You love them. Real love can't be faked. But court loyalty, that's bought and sold like grain." Sound made them both freeze. Footsteps coming fast. "Hide!" Darius pushed Elara and Mira into an alcove, his body blocking them from view. Duke Maxim appeared, the king's brother, with 3 guards. "Commander, I heard a disturbance. Prince Aiden had a nightmare. All is well." Maxim's eyes narrowed. "A nightmare requiring armed response." The king ordered maximum protection. "I obey." The duke stepped closer. "You're jumpy, Commander. Seeing threats where none exist. Perhaps you need rest." "Perhaps." The 2 alphas stared at each other, and Elara felt the crackling tension of dominance challenge. Maxim was royal blood, but Darius was the warrior. Neither would back down easily. Finally Maxim smiled. "Well, carry on. I'm sure the Omega has the children well in hand." He left, his guards following. Darius waited 30 seconds before speaking. He knew. What? The beetles. He came to confirm the attempt failed. Elara's arms tightened around Mira. The king's own brother. Power makes men do terrible things. Maxim is third in line after the children. With them gone, he inherits everything. We have to tell the king. Tell him what? That his brother might be plotting. Based on a feeling. He'd never believe it. We need proof. Elara thought of her journals, her observations, the patterns she'd noticed. Then we gather it. Darius studied her, and for the first time she saw respect in his eyes. You're not running. I told Mira I wouldn't. This could get you killed, Omega. I'm already dead if they succeed. At least this way, I choose how I fight. Something shifted between them in that moment. An understanding, an alliance forged not in words but in shared purpose. Can you get access to Maxim's quarters? Darius asked. I'm an Omega. Can go anywhere. No one notices. Then we have a chance. He paused. What's your name? Your real name. Elara. Elara. He tested it then nodded. I'm Darius. Not my lord or commander when we're alone. Just Darius. Why? Because we're partners now. Partners use names. Mira stirred in Elara's arms. I'm hungry. Elara laughed, shaky with relief and terror. Let's get you something safe to eat, little star. As they walked back, Darius stayed close. Too close for propriety, but Elara didn't mind. For the first time since arriving at court, she didn't feel alone. But that night, checking on the sleeping children, she found a note tucked under Prince Aiden's pillow. Stop interfering, Omega. Next time you die with them. Elara burned the note, watching the threatening words turn to ash. She wouldn't tell Darius. Not yet. He'd remove her from the nursery for safety, and then the children would be truly vulnerable. She'd stay close, stay vigilant, and catch whoever was bold enough to enter the prince's bedroom. But first she needed to understand poison. Why are you in the healer's wing? Grandmother Iris, the palace's ancient medicine woman, squinted at Elara over her grinding bowl. The children get stomach troubles, grandmother. I want to learn what helps and what harms. The old woman's eyes were cloudy with age, but her mind was sharp. Stomach troubles. Or something else. Elara hesitated. Omega to Omega, perhaps truth was safer. Something else. Sit, child. For 2 hours, Grandmother Iris taught her. How nightshade killed slowly, mimicking illness. How dead man's kiss beetles caused fever and convulsions. How silver root could be mixed with milk, undetectable, stopping a child's heart in their sleep. But here's what courtiers forget. Iris said, pulling out a heavy book. Every poison has a tell. Nightshade leaves a bitter taste. Dead man's kiss causes excessive drooling. Silver root makes the tongue swell. Elara memorized everything, her mind filing away symptoms and signs. Why do you really need this knowledge, child? To keep 2 children alive. Iris nodded slowly. Then take this. She pressed a small leather pouch into Elara's hand. Universal antidote. Works on most common poisons. Mix a pinch in water, give immediately. It might save their lives. Thank you, grandmother. Thank me by surviving, girl. This palace eats omegas alive. That afternoon, Elara tested every item in the nursery. She mixed samples of the children's food with detection powder Iris had given her, watching for color changes that indicated poison. The bread was clean. The fruit was clean. The water was clean. But the honey, the expensive honey imported from the southern provinces, the honey Prince Aidan loved on everything, turned the powder black. Nightshade, Elara whispered. Mixed in solution, added gradually. This was sophisticated. Whoever was doing this had access, knowledge, and patience. They were willing to kill children slowly to avoid suspicion. She needed evidence. She needed. Testing our food, Omega. Elara spun. Lady Helena stood in the doorway, her silk dress rustling, her smile poisonous as any herb. The prince has been unwell, my lady. I'm checking for spoilage. How conscientious. Helena glided closer. I brought fresh honey. The children love it so. She held out a crystal jar, golden liquid gleaming inside. Elara's heart pounded. This was her chance. How generous, my lady. Shall I serve it with their afternoon meal? Please do. I'll stay and watch them eat. I so rarely get to spend time with the darlings. Trap. This was absolutely a trap. Elara took the jar, her mind racing. If she served it, Helena would watch the children die and blame Elara. If she refused, Helena would grow suspicious. Of course, my lady. Let me just... Elara pretended to stumble, dropping the jar. It shattered, honey spreading across the floor. Oh, I'm so clumsy. Please forgive me. Helena's mask slipped for just a second. Fury flashed across her perfect face. You stupid Omega. I'm so sorry, my lady. I'll clean it immediately. Forget it. Helena's voice turned cold. I'll bring more tomorrow. Make sure you don't drop it again. After she left, Elara carefully collected honey samples from the broken jar using a cloth. She'd test it, prove it was poisoned, take it to Darius. But when she turned, Prince Aidan stood there, his small face serious. You saved us again, didn't you? What do you mean, little star? I'm not stupid, Elara. Lady Helena is bad. Uncle Maxim is bad. They smile wrong. His voice dropped. I heard them talking. They said after we're gone, Uncle will be king. Elara knelt beside him. Prince Aidan. I'm scared. She pulled him close. I know. But I promise you I will not let anyone hurt you. Neither will Commander Darius. Father doesn't believe me when I tell him I'm scared. Then we'll make him believe. But I need you to be brave a little longer. Can you do that? The 5-year-old nodded, trying to be strong. That evening, Elara brought the honey sample to Darius's office. She knocked quietly. Enter. He was reviewing maps, his quarters sparse and military. When he saw her face, he was instantly alert. What happened? She told him everything. The poisoned honey, Lady Helena's visit, the dropped jar, Prince Aidan's confession. Darius examined the sample. This is enough. We can test it, prove it's poisoned, arrest Helena. She'll claim she was given it, didn't know. We need more. Elara, they threatened you. They know you're interfering. Which means we're close to something important. She met his eyes. One more day. Let me search Helena's quarters tomorrow during the feast. If I find the poison source, we have our proof. It's too dangerous. Everything is dangerous. But those children trust me. I can't fail them. Darius was quiet for a long moment. Then he moved to a locked chest, drew out a small knife. Take this. If anyone threatens you, use it. The blade was beautiful, deadly, perfectly balanced. I don't know how to fight. Then aim for the throat and run. His hand covered hers. I mean it, Elara. Things go wrong, you run. You survive. His touch was warm, protective, and Elara felt something shift inside her. Something dangerous in a different way. I will. I promise. But as she left, neither of them noticed the shadow detaching from the wall outside, slipping silently down the corridor. Their alliance was no longer secret. Tell me a story, Elara. Princess Mira snuggled into bed, her small hand clutching her favorite doll. What kind of story? One with secrets. Elara smiled. Over weeks of bedtime stories, she'd been teaching the children through tales. How to spot lies, how to stay safe, how to be clever. Once upon a time, there was a clever fox. She wove a story about a fox who survived in a wolf's den by being smart, watchful, and brave. But hidden in the tale were lessons. Remember who visits you. Notice if they smell different. Listen to what they say when they think you're not listening. Prince Aiden, lying in his own bed, absorbed every word. The fox always checked her food before eating. Very good. Why? Because wolves can't be trusted, even when they smile. Especially when they smile. Elara tucked blankets around them. Now let's practice our game. What did you notice today? The children had become her little spies, though they thought it was just a game. Who visited? What they said. What felt wrong. Uncle Maxim came at midday, Aiden reported. He asked when father would be in the throne room. Lady Helena brought tea, Mira added. But she didn't drink any herself. Very observant little stars. You're becoming excellent foxes. But later, reviewing her coded notes, Elara saw the pattern clearly. Maxim was mapping the king's schedule. Helena was still trying to poison the children. And the coronation feast was in 4 days. She had to search Helena's quarters. Tonight. You're certain about this? Darius met her in the servants' corridor. His alpha presence making her feel both safer and more nervous. Helena will be at the feast for hours. It's our best chance. I'll watch the corridor. You have 20 minutes. If guards come, I'll create a distraction. Thank you, Darius. His hand caught her arm. Be careful, Omega mine. The possessive term should have offended her. Instead, it made her heart race. I'm nobody's Omega. Not yet. His eyes held something heated, complicated. But you're under my protection. That makes you mine enough. Before she could respond, he was gone, taking position where he could watch both ends of the hallway. Elara slipped into Helena's quarters. The room reeked of perfume and privilege. Silk hangings, jeweled combs, enough wealth to feed a village for years. She searched systematically. Wardrobe, drawers, under the bed. Nothing. Where would a lady hide poison? Then she noticed the writing desk. Elara pulled a hairpin from her braids, a trick her grandmother had taught her. The lock clicked open. Inside were letters. Dozens of them. She unfolded the first. The children must die before coronation. Once Maxim is named heir, our plan proceeds. You'll have the wealth you were promised. The second letter was worse. The Omega is becoming a problem. Eliminate her during the feast chaos. Make it look like an accident. Lara's hand shook. She had to take these to the king. This was sound outside. Voices. Darius's voice. Loud with false anger. I said no one passes. The commander's orders. Helena's voice, sharp with authority. Stand aside. These are my quarters. Elara frantically replaced the letters, closed the desk, locked it. But there was no escape route. The room had one door, currently blocked by Helena arguing with Darius. She dove under the bed, pressing herself flat against the floor. The door opened. Helena's heeled shoes clicked across marble. Ridiculous security. The commander grows paranoid. Another pair of feet entered. Men's boots. Perhaps he knows more than we think. Maxim. The Duke himself. The Omega is the problem, Helena said. She's too observant. Too smart. She should have been easy to remove, but Darius protects her. Then we remove them both during the feast. An attack by rebels. Tragic. The commander dies defending the children but fails. The Omega dies as collateral. Everyone mourns. And you claim the throne through tragedy. Exactly. Maxim's voice was satisfied. 4 days. We move in 4 days. Elara's heart hammered so loud she was certain they'd hear it. What about the evidence? Helena asked. The Omega keeps detailed records. Her room will burn tonight. Everything destroyed. Leave no traces. They left still talking. Elara waited, counting to 100 before crawling out. Darius appeared instantly. Did you find? He saw her face. What happened? They're going to kill us. During the feast. All of us, me, you, the children. Made to look like a rebel attack. That gives us 4 days. They're burning my journals tonight. All my evidence. Panic clawed at her. Weeks of observations, patterns, proof. Then we move them. Now. Darius grabbed her hand. Where are they? They raced to her tiny room in the servants' quarters. Elara had 3 journals hidden in different places. Under floorboards, inside her mattress, tucked behind a loose stone. She was reaching for the 3rd when smoke began seeping under her door. They're early, Darius snarled. Window. He threw open the shutters. 3 stories up. No escape. Give me the journals. He shoved them inside his shirt. Now climb on my back. What? No, I can't. Elara, trust me. She wrapped her arms around his neck. Darius climbed onto the windowsill, tensed, and jumped. They fell, wind screaming past, and Elara buried her face in his neck, certain they'd die. Darius hit the ground in a perfect roll, absorbing the impact. They tumbled through garden bushes, ending in a heap of limbs and leaves. You jumped 3 stories. Elara gasped. Alpha training. He grinned, wild and alive. You okay? I think so. Behind them, flames erupted from her window. Servants screamed. Guards ran toward the fire. We need to hide these journals somewhere safe, Darius said. Somewhere Maxim would never look. Elara thought fast. The children's toy chest. No one searches the nursery except me. They ran through shadows, avoiding guards, until they reached the royal wing. The nursery was dark, children sleeping. Elara tucked the journals inside a hollow toy horse, one of Aiden's favorites. No one would ever. Aiden's eyes opened. Elara, why are you here at night? Just checking on you, little star. The boy saw Darius, saw their disheveled appearance, saw the smoke stains on their clothes. You're in danger. We're fine. No. Aiden's voice was surprisingly firm for a 5-year-old. I heard Uncle. Tomorrow at lessons he wants me alone. Without you. Elara and Darius exchanged looks. Then tomorrow, Darius said quietly. We end this. The Queen's summons came at dawn. Elara stood before Queen Lyanna in a private solar, every instinct screaming danger. The Queen was legendary, beautiful, ruthless, fiercely protective of her children. Her Omega status had made her marriage to the king scandalous, but she'd proven herself more than capable of navigating court politics. I hear you saved my son's life. Multiple times. The Queen's voice was cold water, testing temperature. I did my duty, Your Majesty. Duty. The Queen circled her, predatory. The previous nursemaid fled after 2 weeks. The one before her died in a tragic accident. Yet you remain. Why? Elara chose truth. Because your children need me. Bold answer. Stupid or brave? Both, Your Majesty. A flicker of something, approval, crossed the Queen's face. Commander Darius has become your shadow. Why? He takes his duty seriously. Don't play games with me, girl. The queen's alpha presence pressed down, dominant and fierce despite her omega designation. I know about the poisoned food, the beetles, the fire in your quarters. I know my son whispers to you about his fears. I know my brother-in-law visits suspiciously often. I know everything that happens in this palace. Elara's breath caught. Then you know they plan to kill your children during the coronation feast. Silence. Dangerous, heavy silence. Proof. Letters. In Lady Helena's desk. Correspondence with Duke Maxim detailing their plan. Letters can be forged. I documented patterns in my journals. Poison attempts, suspicious visits, conversations overheard. Commander Darius has the evidence hidden. The queen's eyes narrowed. And yet you tell me this, knowing I could be part of the conspiracy. Knowing I could have you killed this moment. Why? Because you're their mother. Elara met her gaze directly, breaking every rule of protocol. And I've seen how you look at them when you think no one watches. That's real love. Real love doesn't betray. For a long moment the queen studied her. Then unexpectedly she laughed. You're either brilliantly clever or spectacularly foolish. I haven't decided which. May I speak plainly, Your Majesty? You haven't been. Your children are targets. Duke Maxim wants the throne. He's enlisted court allies, including Lady Helena. They plan to kill Aiden and Mira during the feast, stage it as a rebel attack, eliminate me and Commander Darius as witnesses. With your children dead, Maxim becomes heir. He'll control the kingdom, the wealth, everything. And you expect me to believe my husband's brother capable of this? I expect you to protect your pups, whether you believe me or not. The queen moved swiftly, her hand striking Elara's face. The slap echoed. That's for the disrespect. Then quieter. This is for the truth. She pressed a key into Elara's stinging palm. Helena's desk. Get me those letters. I'll need to see them myself. Your Majesty. I'm an Omega who became queen by being smarter, faster, and more ruthless than every Alpha who underestimated me. Do you think I've survived this long without knowing about threats? Her eyes blazed. But I need undeniable proof. Evidence so clear even the king cannot ignore it. Get me those letters and I'll handle the rest. The desk was locked. I picked it, but this key opens everything in Helena's quarters. I had copies made of all court locks years ago. The queen smiled, sharp as knives. Never trust anyone completely, girl. That's lesson 1. Why are you helping me? Because you love my children. Can see it. And because Commander Darius, who trusts no one, trusts you. That's worth investigating. Pause. Also, my spies confirm everything you've said. But the king won't believe spies. He needs physical evidence. Elara clutched the key. I'll get it. Tonight. During the feast preparations, when court is distracted. Bring the letters directly to me, no one else. What about Commander Darius? He's performing his own mission. The king finally agreed to investigate Maxim's finances. If we find evidence of conspiracy there plus Helena's letters, we have an undeniable case. It was brilliant. Multi-pronged attack. Your Majesty is very strategic. I'm a mother first, queen second. My children will not die because ambitious men want power. She gripped Elara's shoulders. But hear me, Omega to Omega. If you betray me, if this is somehow a trap, I will end you so thoroughly your village will forget you existed. Understood? Yes, Your Majesty. Good. Now get out. And act normally. If they suspect we've spoken. Elara curtsied and left, her cheeks still stinging, her heart racing with hope and terror. She found Darius in the training yard, working through sword forms with lethal precision. The queen knows, she said quietly. His blade stopped mid-swing. What? Everything. She's been watching all along. She gave me this. Elara showed him the key, to get Helena's letters tonight. Darius swore softly. The queen's been playing her own game. She wants hard evidence. Said you're investigating Maxim's finances. The king finally approved it. If Maxim's been moving money to hire mercenaries for this rebel attack, we'll find it. He sheathed his sword. We're moving pieces into position. The feast is in 3 days. That's when everything comes together or falls apart. Darius. Elara stepped closer, lowering her voice. If this goes wrong, it won't. But if it does, promise me you'll save the children first. Not me. Them. His jaw tightened. I don't make promises I won't keep. Then keep this one. Please. He pulled her close, sudden and fierce, his forehead pressing against hers. I'm not losing you, Elara. Not to them. Not to anyone. You understand. Her breath caught at his intensity, his possessive claim, the way his alpha presence wrapped around her like armor. This isn't the time. I don't care. You've become. He struggled for words. Important. Me. More than important. Darius. A cough interrupted them. They sprang apart. Duke Maxim stood watching, his expression knowing, dangerous. Commander. Uzi. I wasn't aware you'd developed such close relationships with the servants. The Omega saved my king's son. She has my respect. Respect. Is that what you call it? Maxim's smile was poisonous. Well, do continue your respecting. I'm sure it's very thorough. He walked away laughing. Elara's hand shook. He knows. About us. Our alliance. Then we're out of time. Darius gripped her arms. Get those letters tonight. I'll get the financial records. Tomorrow we present everything to the king together. We end this before the feast. What if the king doesn't believe us? Then we run. And we take the children with us. That night, as Elara prepared to steal the letters that would save or doom them all, she received a message from Queen Lyanna. Change of plans. Come to my quarters immediately. Lone. Elara's blood ran cold. Was it a trap? Had the queen betrayed her to Maxim? But she had no choice. She went. The queen's chambers were empty except for Lyanna herself, standing by the window. When she turned, her face was white with fury. Someone, she said, voice trembling with rage, just tried to poison my wine. The taster is dead. I'm only alive because I saw him collapse before drinking. Your Majesty. They're moving faster than we thought. The attack isn't happening at the feast. It's happening now. At that moment, bells began to ring. Alarm bells. Throughout the palace, guards shouted. The children. Elara ran for the door. Wait. The queen grabbed her. That's what they want. You rushing in unprepared. Here. She thrust a dagger into Elara's hand. This is poisoned. One cut kills. Don't hesitate. Don't show mercy. Their eyes met, omega to omega, mother to mother. Bring them back to me, the queen whispered. Elara ran through chaos. Guards mobilizing, servants screaming, somewhere a fire burning. She burst into the nursery. Me. The children were gone. Elara's mind went silent, cold, focused. She'd prepared for this. Taught the children what to do. Think like they think, she whispered to herself. If scared, where would Aiden take Mira? The secret passages. The ones he'd shown her during their games. The ones he thought were private. She pressed the hidden panel behind the tapestry. It swung open to reveal a dusty passage. Fresh footprints in the dust, small ones. Smart boy, she breathed and followed. The passage wound through the palace walls, and Elara could hear chaos bleeding through stone, shouts, clashing steel, someone screaming orders. The coup had begun. She found them in an abandoned storeroom 3 levels down. Aiden had wedged the door shut with a wooden beam, just like she'd taught him. Mira was crying softly. It's me, Elara called through the door. Elara. Your fox story code. What do foxes do when wolves hunt? Hide until friends arrive, Aiden answered, voice shaking. Good boy. I'm your friend. Let me in. The beam scraped aside. Two terrified children threw themselves at her. "Where's Mama?" Mira sobbed. "Safe. Protected. But we need to get you somewhere better. This room isn't secure enough." "Where?" Didn't ask. "Uncle Maxim has guards everywhere. I heard them shouting about killing father." Elara's heart lurched. The king. If they killed him, this was over. Maxim would claim the throne immediately. But first, children. "I know a place. Follow me exactly. Stay silent. If I say run, you run." She led them through servant passages only she knew. In her months here, she'd mapped every corridor, every hidden route. Now that knowledge became their salvation. They emerged near the healer's wing. Grandmother Iris was burning herbs, face grim. "Omega girl. I wondered when you'd come. Can you hide them?" "Already prepared." Iris opened a hidden cellar beneath her workbench. "There's food, water, blankets. They'll be safe here." Aiden grabbed Elara's hand. "Don't leave us. I have to help Commander Darius. He's fighting to save your father. But you'll come back." Elara knelt, pulled both children close. "I promise. On my life I promise. You're my little stars. I will always come back." Mira pressed something into her hand, a small wooden fox, carved by the palace toy maker. "For luck." Elara's throat tightened. She kissed their foreheads, watched Iris hide them in the cellar, camouflaging the entrance perfectly. Then she ran for the throne room, the poisoned dagger heavy in her palm. The corridor outside was carnage. Dead guards, Maxims and the king's both. The coup was brutal, efficient, well-planned. She found Darius fighting 3 men at once. His sword a blur of lethal precision. Blood streaked his face. His shoulder was bleeding. Elara didn't think. One of his attackers turned toward her, raising his blade. She threw her dagger. It sank into his throat. He dropped choking, dead within seconds. "Elara!" Darius's eyes went wide. "You're supposed to be with the children. They're safe. Where's the king?" "Throne room. Barricaded with loyalists. But Maxim has twice the men. If they break through, we need proof. The letters. If we can show the king evidence. I have the financial records. But Helena's letters. I'll get them. Cover me." Elara no. But she was already running, using servant passages to reach Helena's quarters. The lady would be with Maxim directing the coup. Her rooms would be empty. Elara picked the lock with shaking hands, grabbed the letters from the desk. Real evidence. Undeniable proof. She was almost to the door when Helena appeared. "Clever Omega. I underestimated you." Helena held a loaded crossbow. "Lady Helena, please. This doesn't have to. You ruined everything. Our perfect plan. The kingdom should have passed to Maxim peacefully. The children would have died in their sleep. But you kept interfering with your stupid devotion and clever mind. Now we have war. Dozens dead. All because one Omega couldn't know her place." The crossbow lifted, aimed at Elara's heart. Elara dove behind a chair as the bolt fired, wood splintering. She scrambled for anything. Weapon, shield, escape. Her fingers closed on an oil lamp. She threw it. Glass shattered against Helena's silk dress. Oil spread. The lady shrieked. Elara grabbed a candle, held it high. "Drop the crossbow or I burn you alive." "You wouldn't dare. Your dress is soaked in oil. Test me." For a heartbeat they stared at each other. Noble and Omega, killer and protector. Helena dropped the crossbow. "You think you've won. Even if Maxim fails, you're still nothing. An Omega playing at importance. The king will never. The king will see these." Elara grabbed the letters. "And you'll hang for treason." She ran, Helena's curses following her. Back in the throne room corridor, Darius had been joined by more loyal guards. The fighting was intense, desperate. "Darius, I have them." He saw the letters, understood immediately. "Get to the king. Show him. The door's barricaded. Then I'll make an entrance. Darius rallied his men, formed a wedge and charged. They smashed through Maxim's line, reaching the throne room door. It's Commander Darius. Let us in. The barricades scraped aside. They tumbled through. The king stood in full armor, bleeding from a dozen wounds but still fighting. Around him, the queen protected the throne with a sword of her own. Her Omega status forgotten in warrior fury. Your Majesty. Elara thrust the letters forward. Proof. Duke Maxim planned this. He murdered the children's taster. He hired mercenaries. Helena helped him. It's all here. The king grabbed the letters, read fast. His face went white, then red with rage. My own brother. More than brother, my king, Darius added, showing the financial records. He's been embezzling from the treasury for years. Everything in here proves. An explosion rocked the palace. Maxim's breaking through the eastern wall, a guard shouted. The king looked at his wife, his commander, the Omega holding proof of betrayal. Decision crystallized. Everyone able to fight with me. We end this. And Maxim. His voice turned to thunder. Maxim dies as a traitor deserves. The queen grabbed Elara. The children. Hidden. If. I'll take you to them. No. You stay here. If we fall, you're their last protection. Elara watched them storm out. King, queen, commander, loyal guards, racing to stop a coup. She was left alone in the throne room, holding letters stained with blood, while outside, the kingdom fought for its soul. Hours passed. Elara hid in the passages, listening to battle rage. Steel clashing. Men screaming. Fire crackling. Finally, as dawn broke, silence. Footsteps approached. Elara raised her stolen sword with shaking hands. Darius appeared in the doorway. He was covered in blood, exhausted but alive. It's over, he said. Maxim is dead. Helena captured. The king lives. Elara dropped the sword and ran to him. He caught her, held her tight, and for the first time since the nightmare began, she let herself cry. The children, she managed, are asking for you. Come on. They retrieved Aiden and Mira from Iris's cellar. The children launched themselves at Elara, sobbing with relief. When they reached the throne room, the king and queen stood among wreckage and bodies. But they were alive. The kingdom was saved. The king looked at Elara, really looked at her, seeing her fully for the first time. You're the Omega who saved my children. Yes, your Majesty. Darius tells me you documented everything. That without your observations, we would never have known. Elara bowed her head. I did only what was necessary. Necessary. The king almost smiled. Most would have run. You stayed and fought. Why? She looked at Aiden and Mira, still clinging to her skirts. Because they're my little stars. And someone had to protect them. 3 days after the coup, the executions began. Lady Helena was first. She faced death with dignity, never revealing her co-conspirators. But the torture master had ways of making the silence speak. By the second day, she'd given up 15 nobles, 20 merchants, and 3 generals, all part of Maxim's network. The purge was brutal, necessary, and absolute. Elara watched none of it. She stayed in the nursery, helping Aiden and Mira recover from nightmares, from trauma, from the terror of nearly dying. Will Uncle Maxim come back? Mira asked one night. No, little star. He's gone forever. Good. He had wolf eyes. Children saw truth that adults missed. The king summoned Elara to the throne room 1 week after the coup. She went nervously, unsure what awaited. The entire court was assembled. Nobles who'd survived the purge stood in rigid attention. Guards lined the walls. Elara of the farmlands, the king's voice rang out. Approach the throne. She walked forward, acutely aware of every eye on her. You are a low-born Omega. A nursemaid with no title, no land, no family name. Elara kept her head bowed. Yes, your Majesty. And yet, you possess something nobility lacks, true loyalty, intelligence, courage. He stood, descended the steps. You saved my children's lives multiple times. You documented treachery that would have destroyed my kingdom. You risked everything for people you barely knew. They needed me, Your Majesty. More than that, you loved them. I've read your journals. Every entry, every observation. You didn't protect them from duty. You protected them from love. Tears pricked Elara's eyes. Such loyalty deserves recognition. Kneel. She dropped to her knees. The king drew his sword. For a terrifying moment, she thought. The flat of the blade touched her shoulders. I cannot make you noble. You have no bloodline. But I can grant you title of royal protector of the crown heirs. You will be responsible for my children's safety, education, and well-being until they reach adulthood. You will have authority over any who threaten them. You will answer only to myself, the queen, and Commander Darius. Gasps rippled through the court. An Omega with actual power. Unheard of. Furthermore, the king continued, you are granted lands, income, and a residence within the palace. You are under royal protection. Any who harm you harm me. Understood. Your Majesty, I accept it, girl. You earned it 10 times over. I accept. Thank you, Your Majesty. The king smiled. Now rise, royal protector Elara. As she stood, she caught Darius's eye across the room. He was grinning, proud. His gaze heated with something more than professional respect. Later he found her in the gardens. Royal protector. Impressive. It's too much. I'm just. You're extraordinary. He pulled her close, ignoring propriety and witnesses. And you're under my command, which means I'm responsible for your safety. Is that what this is? Responsibility. Among other things. His voice dropped. I've been patient, Elara. Waiting for the right moment. But I'm done waiting. Darius. I'm claiming you. Officially. If you'll have me. Her breath caught. An alpha claiming an omega was serious, binding, permanent in ways marriage wasn't. It was a declaration of partnership, protection, devotion. You can't mean that. I'm nobody. You're the king's commander. You're the bravest person I've ever met. You're brilliant, compassionate, and you love fiercely. Those children adore you. The queen respects you. The king honors you. And I. He cupped her face. I'm completely, utterly yours. The court will never accept it. I don't care about the court. Do you accept? Elara thought of everything they'd survived. The poison, the beetles, the coup, the blood. They'd fought together, trusted together, survived together. Yes, she whispered. I accept. He kissed her then, fierce and claiming, marking her as his before gods and witnesses. When they broke apart, the queen was watching from a balcony, smiling. She approves, Darius murmured. That's rare. She's Omega. She understands. What do we do now? Now. Elara smiled. Now I have 2 children to feed, a kingdom to protect, and an alpha to train in proper nursery protocols. Darius laughed, warm and genuine. I'm terrifying warriors and you want me in the nursery? Little stars need protecting. And you're the best protector I know. Second best. He pulled her close again. You're the first. But their peace was short-lived. That evening, as Elara prepared the children's dinner, she found a note tucked under Prince Aiden's plate. Maxim was one head of the serpent. We are many. The children still die. Her blood turned to ice. She ran to find Darius, letter clutched in her hand. He read it, face going hard. Maxim's conspiracy was bigger than we thought. We need to tell the king. We will. But first. He looked at her seriously. This never ends, does it? There will always be someone wanting the throne. Always threats. Always danger. I know. And you're still staying. Elara thought of Aiden and Mira, of their trust, their love, their need for her. I made a promise. I keep my promises. Then we fight. Together. Always. Always. But as they went to inform the king of this new threat, neither noticed the servant in the shadows, listening, reporting, carrying information to those who still wanted the children dead. The game was far from over. The attacks came in waves after that. A loose stone above the nursery door, positioned to fall and crush. Elara spotted it and had workers remove it, claiming structural damage. Contaminated milk delivered from a trusted dairy farmer. Elara tested everything now, trusting no one. A fire started in the corridor outside the children's rooms during their nap time. Darius caught the arsonist and executed him personally. We can't live like this, the queen said during an emergency council. Constant vigilance, constant fear. It's destroying us. Then we hunt them, Darius replied. Every conspirator, every ally. We root them out completely. How? The king demanded. We don't know who they are. Elara spoke quietly. I do. All eyes turned to her. I've been watching. Just like before. Patterns. Who delivers food? Who has access? Who visits when? I have suspects. Give me names, the king commanded. Over the next hour, Elara presented her findings. 3 servants with unexplained wealth. 2 guards who were always conveniently absent during attacks. A merchant who supplied the palace with goods, including the poisoned milk. But the leader, Elara said, is someone close. Someone who knew about Maxim's plan and survived the purge by hiding their involvement. Someone still in the palace, still trusted. Who? The queen demanded. Master Aldrich. The children's tutor. Gasps filled the room. Aldrich was beloved, respected, above reproach. Impossible, the king said. Aldrich has served my family for 20 years. Which gives him perfect access, Elara countered. He's alone with the children daily. He prepares their lessons. He chooses their reading materials. And look, she showed her journals. Every attack happened within hours of him visiting the nursery. Every single one. Coincidence, someone protested. I tested his ink, Elara continued. The note threatening the children. Same composition as his. He writes their lessons in that ink. Darius stood. Bring him in. Now. Aldrich arrived confused, concerned, playing innocent perfectly. But when confronted with evidence, his mask slipped. You understand nothing, he spat. Maxim promised a better kingdom. A kingdom of merit, not bloodline. Where people like me, brilliant, capable, worthy, would be rewarded. Not cast aside for royal brats. So you'd murder children for power. The queen's voice could freeze steel. They're not special. They're accidents of birth. I could rule better than they ever will. The king's face went cold. Take him to the dungeons. Get every name. Every co-conspirator. Use whatever methods necessary. As guards dragged Aldrich away, Elara felt no satisfaction. Only exhaustion. Darius found her later on the battlements. You did it again. Saved them. For how long? There's always another threat. Always someone wanting power. That's the cost of royalty. Constant danger. They're children. They deserve peace. Darius pulled her against him. So do you? You've been fighting non-stop for months. When do you rest? When they're safe. Stubborn Omega. Overprotective Alpha. He kissed her temple. I've been thinking. After this is settled, after the conspirators are eliminated, marry me. Elara's heart stuttered. What? Properly. Before gods and court. Be my wife. My partner. My everything. Darius, I'm a farm girl. I'm yours. If you'll have me. She looked at him. This fierce warrior who'd become her anchor, her safety, her home. Yes. His smile was sunshine breaking through storm clouds. But their moment shattered when bells rang. Alarm bells. Again. They ran to the throne room. Kiss. The king's guard was fighting someone. Multiple someones, dressed in black, faces covered. Assassins. Professional ones. The children. Elara screamed. Darius grabbed 3 guards. With me. Protect the heirs. They ran for the nursery, swords drawn. Behind them, the king and queen fought for their lives. Elara reached the nursery first. The door was open. Inside, 2 assassins stood over the children's beds. She didn't hesitate. Didn't think. She launched herself at the nearest one, a knife she'd stolen appearing in her hand. He was surprised, just an Omega, right? Not a threat. She buried the knife in his kidney. He dropped. The second assassin turned, blade rising. Darius's sword took his head off. Are they? Elara couldn't finish. Darius checked the beds. Pillows. Shaped like bodies. They're not here. Relief and terror mixed. Where? The passages. A small voice called. Aiden peeked from behind the tapestry. We heard fighting. We hid. Like you taught us. Elara nearly collapsed. Smart boy. So smart. Mira appeared too, clutching her doll. Are the bad people gone? Not yet, little star. But soon. They stayed in the hidden passage while battle raged. Hours passed. Finally, silence. The king appeared, bloodied but alive. It's over. We got them all. Aldrich sang like a bird before he died. We know every name, every plot, every plan. This time we've cut the serpent off at the root. You're sure? Elara asked. I'm sure. And for the first time in months, Elara let herself believe it might be true. 6 months later, the kingdom celebrated a double wedding. King and queen renewed their vows, reaffirming their bond after surviving attempted coup and assassination. And Commander Darius wed royal protector Elara in a ceremony that shocked and delighted the entire realm. An Omega and an Alpha, united not by political arrangement but by genuine love forged in fire and blood. Elara stood in silk and jewels, feeling like an imposter, until Darius took her hand. You're beautiful, he whispered. I'm terrified. Of what? That I'll wake up and this is all a dream. That I'm still a farm girl hoping for something more. Then we'll dream together. The ceremony was simple, heartfelt. Prince Aiden served as ring bearer. Princess Mira scattered flowers. The queen smiled throughout, remembering her own scandalous wedding years ago. When the priest asked if anyone objected, silence reigned. No one dared challenge the woman who'd saved the kingdom or the warrior who'd defended it. I now pronounce you bonded in law, heart and soul. Darius kissed her like she was precious, claiming her before gods and witnesses as his wife. His partner, his equal. The celebration lasted 3 days. But on the 4th day, Elara returned to work. You're married to the commander, the queen said, amused. You don't need to work anymore. The children need me. They do. But you also need to live. Elara smiled. This is living. Teaching them, protecting them, watching them grow. This is everything I dreamed of. Then I'm making your position permanent and hereditary. When you have children, they'll inherit your title and responsibilities. The kingdom will always have a royal protector from your line. Your Majesty, that's too much. It's what you deserve. The queen touched her arm. You changed everything, Elara. Before you, Omegas were invisible, powerless, dismissed. You proved we can be fierce. We can be strategic. We can be essential. Every Omega girl in this kingdom now dreams of being you. I just did what was necessary. That's what makes you remarkable. You don't see your own strength. That evening, Elara sat with Aiden and Mira during their bedtime routine. Aiden was now 6, Mira 4. They'd grown so much. Tell us the fox story, Mira requested. Again. You've heard it 100 times. But it's our favorite. So Elara told them once more about the clever fox who survived in the wolf's den through intelligence, courage and love. That fox is you, Aiden said when she finished. Maybe a little. Will you always be here? Mira asked. Even when we grow up. As long as you need me, little stars. As long as you need me. Later, in the quarters she now shared with Darius, she found him reviewing security reports. Always vigilant. Always protecting. "Come to bed," she said. "In a moment. I'm checking patrol schedules. Darius, the kingdom is safe. The conspirators are gone. You can rest. I'll rest when I'm dead." She crossed to him, took the reports from his hands. "You'll rest now. That's an order from your wife." He smiled, pulled her onto his lap. "Ordering me around already? Someone has to." "I love you," he said simply. "Every fierce, stubborn, brilliant part of you. I love you too. My overprotective alpha." They held each other in comfortable silence. Two people who'd fought through hell and somehow found heaven. Months later, Elara discovered she was pregnant. The news spread through the palace like wildfire. "A child!" the queen exclaimed. "This is wonderful." "I can still work," Elara insisted. "The children still need. The children have plenty of caregivers. You, however, need to rest and prepare for your own pup." Darius was equally overprotective, insisting she avoid anything strenuous. Elara tolerated it for approximately 3 days before informing him she was pregnant, not broken, and would continue her duties until physically unable. He wisely didn't argue. When her daughter was born, healthy, loud, and absolutely perfect, Elara held her and wept. She named her Hope. "For the hope that kept me fighting," she explained to Darius. "The hope that life could be better, that love could be real, that little omegas from farming villages could become something more." "She'll be extraordinary," Darius said, touching his daughter's tiny hand. "Like her mother." 5 years passed. The kingdom prospered under wise rule. Aiden and Mira grew into intelligent, compassionate young leaders. Hope thrived, surrounded by love and protection. Elara stood in the nursery, the same nursery where it all began, watching her daughter play with the royal children. 3 generations of protector and protected, bound by love stronger than blood. "Mother, can you tell us a story?" Hope asked. "What kind of story?" "A true one. About how you and father met." Elara smiled. "That's a long story, little one. We have time." So Elara sat and began. She told them about a frightened Omega who came to the palace to feed royal children. About discovering poison and beetles and conspiracy. About a fierce alpha who became her partner. About fighting for what was right even when terrified. She told them everything. "You were so brave," Aiden said. He was 11 now, nearly a man. "I was terrified most of the time." "Bravery isn't not being scared," Mira, 9 years old and wise beyond her years, said. "It's being scared and doing the right thing anyway." "Who taught you that?" Mira grinned. "You did. In all your stories." Later, watching sunset from the battlements with Darius, Elara reflected on the impossible journey from farm girl to royal protector, from Omega servant to commander's wife, from frightened nursemaid to the woman who saved a kingdom. "Any regrets?" Darius asked. "Not one. Not even the poison, the assassination attempts, the constant danger. Those things led me here. To you. A hope. To a life I never dreamed possible. To know. No regrets." He kissed her slow and sweet. "I'm the luckiest man alive. We're both lucky." They stood together, watching their daughter play in the gardens below, watching Aiden and Mira, safe, healthy, thriving, practice their lessons. Watching the kingdom they'd fought so hard to protect finally at peace. Elara had learned many things in her years at court. About poison and politics, about courage and conspiracy, about survival and sacrifice. But the most important lesson was this. Sometimes the smallest people make the biggest difference. Sometimes Omega nursemaids save kingdoms. Sometimes love is the strongest weapon. And sometimes, just sometimes, fairy tales come true. Not because of magic or destiny or fate, but because ordinary people choose to be extraordinary. Because someone decides that children matter more than safety. Because someone says, "I won't run," and means it. Elara had been that someone. And in being her, she'd changed everything. "What are you thinking?" Darius asked. That I'd do it all again. Every terrifying moment. For this. For us. For them. Good, he said. Because we're not done yet. What do you mean? He grinned, dangerous and playful. The king is asking me to train a new generation of guards. He wants you to help select them. Find people like us, smart, loyal, capable. People who protect for love, not duty. A new program. A new legacy. The Royal Protection Corps. Led by the two people who invented modern protection. Elara considered it. Training others to do what she'd done. Creating a system where children, all children noble and common, were protected by people who genuinely cared. I'm in. I knew you would be. They smiled at each other, partners in every sense. And as stars appeared overhead, Elara felt complete. Her journey had started with fear and desperation, with a simple desire to survive one more day. It had led through poison and blood, through terror and triumph, through impossible odds and unlikely victories. And it ended here. Not really ended, but transformed, into something better than she'd ever imagined. Into love. Into family. Into purpose. Into home. Elara, once a nameless omega from a farming village, had become royal protector, warrior, wife, mother, and legend. But more importantly, she'd become herself. And that was the greatest victory of all.